Hello, everybody, and welcome back. This is episode 35 of High Street Sports. My name is Chris. This is John Ross. Welcome into the first annual college football bowl game Extravaganza here on High Street Sports. Christmas celebration, the whole nine. We're here for it. John Ross, what's up, buddy? How you doing? What bowl games are you most looking forward to?
Aside from the college football playoff, I'd say Mizzou and Ohio State. I think that'll be a really good one. Ole Miss and Penn State, kind of a clash of styles. And then also looking forward to, where is it at? Arizona versus Oklahoma. I think that'll be a good one. But yeah, excited to get into it. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Holidays, whatever you celebrate. I hope it's a happy one.
Whatever you celebrate, however you celebrate, it will surely include some football here as we get through the next couple weeks. So starting off here, the number one, or not the number one, but the first bowl game that we have here on the list is the Duke's Mayo Bowl in Charlotte, North Carolina. UNC versus West Virginia. This is an unranked game, but an interesting one nonetheless. Two teams that, kind of hope to finish the season on the right foot. Carolina, a team that midway through the season had some college football playoff aspirations and a Heisman hopeful quarterback that, kind of turned sour as the season went on. Some unfortunate losses for Carolina. Just couldn't really live up to that hype. West Virginia is a 6.5-point favorite. Drake May declares for the NFL draft, which is a shock to absolutely nobody. So, Carolina is going to have to figure out some things going forward, probably see what they have at that position. What are you thinking about this Carolina versus West Virginia game in the Duke's Mayo Bowl?
Yeah, without Drake May, I don't even know who their backup is,
I have no
to
idea.
be honest. And I think West Virginia's, 7-5, something like that on the season. Bounced back after a pretty bad year last year. Carolina, I think they're just ready for this season to be over, to be honest with you. I'm not sure what the line is, but I think the Mountaineers will win this one. I'm a head coach, though. I honestly don't want to win this game for fear of being doused in mayo after it's over.
That big Gatorade cooler vat of mayo. Imagine how long it would take to get the smell of mayonnaise off of you after getting that dumped on you. That's disgusting. Yeah. That kind of makes me want to vomit.
If any of my players dump that on me, don't expect to be back next year.
Oh, either that or you're running laps as soon as we get back to the facility. That's an absolute no-go. So yeah, it's West Virginia minus 6.5. I would assume that they probably have a good chance at making that happen, unless Carolina has something to play for. A lot of people clamoring for Mac Brown to potentially leave the program after this year, so it's it could be a bit of a transition for the Heels, but I don't know if I foresee Mac getting ousted after this year. It might be after next year. They might give him one more year to kind of see what he can do and maybe leave on the right foot. But a bit of a intriguing game to watch there in Charlotte. Moving on to a team that feels like they're a rival to Carolina. We'll move on to the Pop-Tarts Bowl in Orlando, Florida. Number 18, NC State Wolfpack versus the number 25, Kansas State Wildcats. Kansas State, a 3-point favorite in this game. NC State with a chance to finish with 10 wins, though. A little bit of an interesting season. They kind of started a little slow. Might have been a team that, was kind of underneath whatever standard has been developed in Raleigh for state, but they have a chance to win 10 games here and finish it at 10-3. Kansas State, a team that, as we mentioned in the preview, returned a lot of, the big pieces from their Big 12 championship a year ago, a season that really didn't go the way that the Cats wanted to. But, again, these games aren't necessarily meaningless, especially when you're a program like NC State with a chance to finish with 10 wins. What do you think about this one?
State's coming in hot. Kansas State is coming in pretty hot too, but they're going to be without their senior quarterback, Will Howard, who entered the transfer portal. He hasn't picked anywhere to go yet, but they'll be without him. Like I said, State's coming out on a heater, so as much as I hate it, I'll pick NC State, get their 10th win, and hang a banner for this season somewhere probably.
And they might. It's like I said, Kansas State.
They might erect a statue.
Oh, well.
To the State fans watching this, I'm not sorry.
Yeah, it'll be
What happens if you win this one? Do you get a Gatorade container full of Pop-Tarts dumped on you? Pop-Tart filling?
I would absolutely rather that one than mayonnaise.
Oh, yeah.
You can throw just about any flavor of Pop-Tart, and I'd be fine over a vat of mayonnaise.
You just get just a dump truck of Pop-Tarts.
Hey, a dump truck of brown sugar cinnamon Pop Tarts would leave a lot of people very happy.
Yeah. If no one's tried it, we're not sponsored by Pop Tarts. This is a free plug. Have you ever had the hot fudge sundae Pop Tart?
I have had the hot fudge sundae Pop Tart.
It's delicious.
Pop it in the toaster.
I've never
It's a
done
dandy.
that.
Oh, it's a dandy. It's a good one. You should try it.
I have to remember that.
Anyways, you can have whatever flavor of Pop Tart that you would like watching that game. We will move on to the next game that we have here on the list. Number 14, Arizona versus number 12, Oklahoma in the Valero Alamo Bowl. Arizona, a team that is not only a 3-point favorite in this game, and I think that would have a lot to do with Oklahoma losing Dylan Gabriel in the transfer portal. Arizona finished on quite the last month and a half to 2 months of the season, and I think they have a chance to finish 10-3 after a team that really didn't have much expectation, if any, going into this year. What do you think about Arizona's chances against the Sooners in this one? Again, a team that Sooners losing Dylan Gabriel, who to his third school will transfer to Oregon to finish out his college career, maybe, unless he finds a way to get another year of eligibility somewhere. What do you think about Zona and the Sooners here?
I like Arizona a lot. They got a really good quarterback. I think his first name is Nick. His last name starts with F. It escapes me right now. But yeah, I think they were 3-3 after they lost to us, Washington, and took Washington to the wire too. And since then they haven't lost. And like you said, Dylan Gabriel's gone. Arizona won't get the chance to play him next year when he's at Oregon because, as we all know, Oregon's moving to the Big Ten. But yeah, give me Arizona and give me Arizona big in this one.
Well, that's a wild take there for the Arizona Wildcats, who again surprised a lot of people and finished the way that they finished, and like you mentioned, played some of the top teams in the Pac-12 pretty tough with a chance to win those games. So good for Arizona. And good for them for again a chance to win 10 games and finish the season on the right foot going into next season, and a bit of a new territory for a team that's no longer going to be in the Pac-12. Also, pretty big game, I would think, for why can't I think of Oklahoma's coach's name? Brent Venables. Pretty big game for Brent Venables, in a year where Oklahoma had aspirations of winning the Big 12, lost to Texas and then lost another one. And then really kind of, the season just got away from him a little bit. But big game for Brent Venables and that team going into the SEC. Obviously, you want to win that game to propel yourself into a, more of a uplifting offseason rather than to lose the last game of your Big 12 tenure. So, big game on both sides. Moving on to another game that it features a team that started slow and finished the season on the right foot. Number 22 Clemson, a 4-point favorite versus Kentucky in the Gator Bowl. Kentucky, again, a team that started the season hot and then lost some unfortunate games, and the season got away from them as well. Clemson turned it on late after a 4-4 start. A lot of people thought Clemson was kind of dead sitting there at 4-4 in the middle of the season, but they found a way to put some things together and figure some things out. Cade Klubnik and that offense, albeit a little bit of a slower moving offense than they're used to, not as many names at receiver as they've had for Cade, but not a bad finish to the season, sitting at 8-4 with a chance to win a 9th game. What do you think about this game between the Tigers and Kentucky?
Yeah, Clemson. I think they'd really like to win this game. The players, coaches, and the fans, just to kind of get some good momentum going into next year. I know this year's been pretty trying for them after the past few years of dominance they've had. They seem to be in a kind of a weird place right now. I know some Clemson fans are ready to see kind of move on from Dabo, but I mean, I know can't really do that just yet after all he's done there. So yeah, Kentucky, on the other hand, they started out 5-0, then couldn't really string anything together after that. I think they're 7-5. Big win to end the season though at Louisville, so see if they can ride that momentum. But yeah, give me Clemson in this one. I think the Tigers will be pretty hyped up to play this one and get a win going into next year. Hopefully, a better year for them.
Yeah, I think Kentucky is riding on the heels of some pretty upsetting finish to the season, and on the other end, Clemson finished the year hot, and I think I would caution Clemson fans and say one thing. If you're ready for Dabo to go, be careful what you wish for, because Dabo by all accounts, I've given him a hard time, and a lot of people have given him a hard time, but he is a good coach. He, brought a lot of success to Clemson after a long time of, Clemson being known to Clemson and blow games and find ways to lose and things like that. So, Clemson fans, be careful what you wish for. If you boot Dabo out the door, there's no telling how long it would be before Clemson got back to that level. So, Clemson is a team that, if they win this game, they're rumored to have some heat on the recruiting trail. I know signing day is in 2 days, so they're rumored to be in the mix for a defensive lineman that is currently committed to Ohio State, Edric Houston. That'd be a big flip if they were able to knock that one in the right direction. And so Clemson's got some momentum. Fans just need to kind of be patient. It's not easy to go from generational talent at quarterback to generational talent at quarterback and keep that up. So it's a heavy standard, but they'll be back. Moving on to the next one, the Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl. Number 19, Oregon State versus number 16, Notre Dame. Notre Dame a 6.5-point favorite in this game. Notre Dame added a big transfer portal ad in quarterback Riley Leonard. In the portal this past week. And then, on the other end of that, Oregon State, DJ Uiagalelei decided that he was going to leave the program after 1 year.
Even the backup did.
His final year of eligibility elsewhere. So, kind of surprised that, this line is only Notre Dame 6.5. So, a little bit of an interesting one here. What do you think about this one between the Beavers and the Fighting Irish?
Is Sam Hartman going to play?
I would imagine so. I can't think that he wouldn't.
Yeah, like you said, I'm surprised the line's that close too. Oregon State does have a good defense. I think this one does have the potential to be kind of knockdown, drag out, low scoring game. But I think the Irish, I know Audric Estime is probably not going to play their running back, but I think Sam Hartman will do enough to get the Irish the win in his last season in college football, we think.
After 8 years. I think, Notre Dame's got a pretty good stable of running backs. I can't remember their backup's name, but he played well against Ohio State and had some, pretty good games this season throughout. So, I don't think, Audric Estime is no doubt one of the best backs in the country, but losing him for this game probably won't hurt Notre Dame all that much. I will take the Irish too in that one. I think that
another bowl game where the winning coach is probably in a better spot than the winner of the Duke's Mayo Bowl. I'd rather have Frosted Flakes dumped on me than
yeah, with milk. I think I'd rather that too.
Yeah, there's a lot of things I'd rather have than Duke's Mayo.
I don't even want to. That's just the thought of that smell of being covered in mayonnaise just kind of makes me want to vomit. Moving on to the last game that we have here outside of the New Year's Six and playoff games. I don't really know. Relinquest Bowl? Is that how you say this? I don't know. ReliaQuest, whatever. This bowl between unranked Wisconsin and number 13 LSU. LSU is 7.5-point favorite here. No surprise at all after the season that they've had, albeit with some defensive issues, but a pretty explosive offense led by the Heisman Trophy winner Jaden Daniels. Congratulations to him. Well deserved in my mind, and we've talked about this countless times last month or so. Really didn't think it was that close of an argument, especially after Jordan Travis went down with that injury. I thought it was his trophy to lose. I don't really think that Michael Penix was able to do enough over the last month to win that trophy. Marvin Harrison did not do enough to win the trophy, as well as Bo Nix, obviously, with that second loss to Washington kind of eliminated him. So, I think the Heisman went to the rightful owner in this case, and an incredible season had by Jaden Daniels. And you've mentioned it before off the show. What if LSU had a competent defense? What could have been for the Tigers this year?
Shot him some up them draft boards too.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and again, rightfully so.
He will not be playing in the bowl game though. He announced today that he's entering the draft,
which is a surprise to nobody.
I wouldn't want to bail that defense out another time either.
No, and it just kind of turns to a situation too where, like, I think it behooves LSU to see what you have at that position. And what's that backup's name that you were mentioning?
Garrett Nussmeier. He was I believe he was a 4-star a few years ago. He's came in a few times. It's been kind of spotty, so he hasn't really gotten a chance to take it and run with it. I mean, he's got a cannon of an arm. I got a lot of hope for the guy next year. We'll have to see what LSU does in the transfer portal, but I think it's Garrett Nussmeier's spot to lose next year. So it'd be good to see him get a full game run in this one against a pretty good defense too. And Malik Neighbors will be playing. Malik needs 66 yards to become the all-time leading receiving yards become the all-time leader in receiving yards at LSU, which is an insane accomplishment when you think of all the receivers that have come through Baton Rouge.
No
but
doubt.
I think a lot of it at the beginning is going to be spam Malik the ball. Maybe first play, have him do a go route, see if he can get it, because the dude gets yak like nobody else. Good opportunity to see what we got that LSU's gotten Garrett Nussbauer next year and some other freshmen too, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Give me the Tigers in this one. I think it'll be close, especially now that Jaden's not going to play. But I think the Tigers have too much firepower on offense to lose this one, and maybe some of the freshmen on defense, now that they get a lot more game time, like I would imagine, maybe some of them will step up and make LSU's defense look better than it has all year.
Yeah, I mean, on the other side of that too, Wisconsin just really doesn't have much on offense at all, and I don't think that Braylon Allen will play in this game. He declared for the draft last week, so I'm not sure there. I have not seen that definitively, but it would just be my gut feeling that Braylon Allen would not play in this game. So that's Wisconsin's best offensive piece, and you take him out of the equation, and that's kind of scary hours for Wisconsin's offense that really kind of struggled to move the ball this year. But as you mentioned, a good defense on the other side of that ball for Wisconsin, and a chance for Luke Fickell to maybe get a big win if Wisconsin were to miraculously able to pull an upset here and send Wisconsin off on the right foot into the offseason. I don't tough first year for Luke Fickell at Wisconsin, but you can only go up from here. So big game for LSU and the talent development there. See what you got going into next year, and to send Malik Neighbors off on the right foot, get him that record, and get him out of there so he doesn't get hurt. And give him a nice send off to the LSU fans. So that is our last. Oh wait, you have one more game here. What was that last game that you had written down?
Oh yeah, Iowa versus Tennessee in the Citrus Bowl. This one could be interesting. Tennessee has a pretty high-powered offense. Iowa has a very, very good defense and zero offense. So definitely, and Tennessee has a pretty good defense too. So definitely, it'd be interesting to see if Iowa a very quiet 10-2, like we've talked about. I just think Iowa's too inept on offense, and Tennessee's better than they have been, especially better than last year on defense this year. And I think it'll be interesting. I'm not sure if Joe Milton will play or not, or if I don't know. But I imagine Tennessee fans would like to see their 5-star freshman, Nico, I can't think of his last name, get some run in this one. But I think the Vols will win this one regardless.
Yeah, I think this is a Vols game to lose. Iowa, if my memory serves correct, has scored 10 points in their last 8 quarters of football. They did not score against Michigan in the Big Ten championship game, to nobody's surprise.
Killed an entire bar. I don't know if you saw that. I think it was in Cedar Rapids. That bar tweeted that they would free draft beer until Iowa scored, and they went the full 60 minutes and didn't score. So I imagine everybody in that bar died.
And I would
a lot of stomachs pumped that night.
I would venture to think that they might not score in this one too. It would not surprise me one bit if Iowa lost this game and did not score, making it 10 points in their last 12 quarters of football on offense. So that's tough. If you're a Hawkeyes fan, that's got to be tough to sit through week in and week out.
Although it would be the most Tennessee thing ever if Iowa just has their offensive standout performance of the year in this game.
Where is that game?
The Citrus Bowl side.
Oh, so that'd be somewhere in Florida. What kind of poetic justice would it be if Iowa won that game and their fans stormed the field and carried the freaking goalpost out and dumped them in whatever body of water was close?
That'd be awesome. Yeah.
Oh, that would be incredible. It might have to be 3-0 though if that were to happen. Yeah. What a snoozer. All right. Moving into the games that are a little bit more exciting to talk about here. Moving into the New Year's Six Bowls. First one on the list here being the Cotton Bowl. Number 9, Mizzou, a 2.5-point favorite versus number 7, Ohio State. Everybody knows how the season ended for Ohio State, a third straight loss to Michigan. Kyle McCord entered the portal, has chosen to go to Syracuse. Ohio State has had a number of other players join the portal as well, but none really in the grand scheme of things being important players. A lot of depth pieces, more or less, jumping in the portal for Ohio State. Mizzou, a very good team, had a very good season, sitting at 10-2. A team that surprised a lot of people, I think, but didn't surprise Eli Drinkowitz, who is very, very confident in that Missouri team. Made a very funny Connor Stallions reference in the selection show there for the bowl game. So I think this is going to be a pretty good matchup. Ohio State is pointing towards Devin Brown as their starting quarterback for this game. Who was Kyle McCord's backup all season, got injured in training camp, and then again had a high ankle sprain, missed 4 weeks in the middle of the season. So a really good opportunity for Devin Brown to get out there and start a game for the Buckeyes and kind of show Ryan Day and the Buckeye Nation what he's got going forward. Very confident Devin Brown going into this game. There's a lot of people on the Buckeye beat that said this game was largely meaningless. Ohio State players have pushed back on that. Jack Sawyer said, "Excuse my French, that's bullshit. We're here to win. If there's a game in front of us, especially against a good SEC team, we're going to play, and it means a lot to us." And I think, Eli Drinkowitz is going to have his team ready to go. Obviously, when you're a team like Missouri who has a chance to beat Ohio State, you're going to get up for that game. So I think it'll be a good game at the Cotton Bowl, an exciting one. Missouri, again, a 2.5-point favorite. What say you about this one?
Yeah, I think you're right. Missouri is going to be fired up for this one to play a team of Ohio State's caliber in a bowl game like this at a venue at the Cotton Bowl. Brady Cook, really good quarterback. He can throw it. He can go with his legs. Cody Schrader, first team All-American running back behind Ollie Gordon from Oklahoma State. And then Luther Burden, he's a really, really good receiver. And on the other side of Ohio State, you got Devin Brown coming in. Interested to see how he does after not playing since pretty much the beginning of the year. He will have a month to prepare, so that'll be interesting. Just give Ohio State a glimpse into what they may have going into next year. That being said, though, I'm going to take Missouri. I think they're going to be a little bit more fired up for this one than Ohio State. Not to say Ohio State won't be fired up for it, because like Jack Sawyer said, there's a game in front of us. We're going to play it. But I just think the opportunity for Missouri to beat a team like Ohio State, Coach Drinkwitz is going to have those guys fired up. And I think I feel confident saying this will be the best offense Ohio State has played all year long. And I'm interested to see how their defense does against that. Ohio State does have an elite defense, but I do think Brady Cook, Luther Burden, and Curtis Schrader will get the job done and win a close one against the Buckeyes.
Yeah, I think, that's not outside the realm of possibility. Devin Brown has got a tall task in front of him. Like I said, a good SEC team, 10-2 Missouri team. And, I think the one thing, one player that we absolutely will not see in this game is Marvin Harrison Jr. He keeps saying that he's on the fence about coming back or going to the NFL. When you're a top 3 projected pick in the draft, Biletnikoff winner, I just don't see any situation where Marv comes back unless he really wants to come back and try to beat Michigan again. But I just don't see that happening. But everybody else will play. Everybody on defense, I believe, is available. Denzel Burke will play. Jordan Hancock will play. There was a couple others. Jack Sawyer and JT Tuimoloau will probably play. Tyleik Williams has said he's playing. So, you're going to get a full offering from that defense. The only thing that, it remains to be seen is how that offense is going to look with some young receivers. I think Emeka Egbuka will play, but you'll see a lot of Carnell Tate and Brandon Ennis, 2 5-star recruits that came in, highly touted. Carnell Tate got a lot more playing time on offense. Brandon Ennis was more of a special teams guy. So, and the one thing that is really glaring an issue for Ohio State is the running back situation. Travion Henderson has not announced if he will play in this game or return to Ohio State next year, leaving, I think, one scholarship running back available for Ohio State, that being Dallin Hayden, a guy who has a lot of talent, but didn't really get him a lot of playing time this year. Chip Trayanum announced that he's going to the portal. Why can't I think of his name? Mayan Williams announced that he was going to the NFL draft, and redshirt sophomore Evan Pryor announced that he was going to the portal and transferring to Cincinnati. So running back an issue for Ohio State, which will probably prove to be an issue in this game. I'm going to go with the Buckeyes, though. You see the flag behind me. I can't stray too far away from that. I do think they have a chance to win this game, and I think Devin Brown's fired up and has the opportunity to really show the country that he's here, and that he will be Ohio State's starter next season. So interesting game there. I think, in my opinion, one of the more interesting games that's outside of the playoff.
I think it'll be a good one.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun to watch that. I'm excited to watch Ohio State play Missouri, and I've said on this show before, I think I'm a big Eli Drinkwitz fan. I love what the kind of operation that he has in Missouri, the coach he is. He's just a lot of fun to watch, and I think a guy that a lot of players would run through a brick wall for. So should be a fun one out in Dallas, Texas. Moving on, the next game here, the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. Number 11 Ole Miss versus number 10 Penn State. Penn State a 4-point favorite in this one, which kind of shocked me just a bit, unless there was something going on at Ole Miss that I missed. No pun intended. Drew Aller needs to improve, and he needs to play better if Penn State's going to have a chance to win this game. So it'll be interesting to see which version of him that the Nittany Lions get in this game. What do you think about Ole Miss versus Penn State?
Yeah, like Penn State favored -3.5 in this one. I do know Jackson Dart. I'm pretty sure for Ole Miss. I'm pretty sure he's coming back next year, so he will play in this game. I'm pretty sure. And yeah, I know Chop Robinson for Penn State, defensive end. I know he declared for the draft, so they won't have him. I'm not sure about that cornerback, Kalen King. Isn't that his name?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm not sure if he's declared or not. I know he'll be a first-round draft pick, like a lot of people say. But regardless, Penn State still has a really good defense. But however, I guess I'll still ride the SEC train in this one. I'm going to go with Ole Miss solely based on ECU's future offensive coordinator, John David Baker, will be coaching this game. In this game, he's the current tight ends and co-offensive coordinator for Ole Miss, and done a great job there. Excited to see him in Greenville next year. He's already working the recruiting trail really hard. Got a big commitment. Sorry to deter, but got a big commitment the other day from Caton Hauser, for transfer quarterback from Michigan State. So got to pull for future Pirate JDB in this one. Hashtag burn the boats, like he keeps saying. Yeah, give me the Rebs in this one in a very big clash of styles.
Yeah, I think it's going to be tough for Penn State to want to run that kind of like smash mouth brand of football that they run. I don't see Drew Aller being able to throw the ball well enough to win this game. I just, you kind of saw him implode on himself in Columbus, and then again against Michigan, couldn't really throw the ball enough to win that game through a costly interception at the end of that game. So I just don't see Penn State having enough to get by in this game. I mean, they have a really good defense, but again, you're going to need to have some offensive firepower to win this game, and I just don't know if Penn State has enough of it. So I will side with you on that one, and I will pick Ole Miss in that game. Moving on to the next game, probably the most disappointed, two of the most disappointed teams in the country at the moment. The Capital One Orange Bowl, number 6 Georgia, a 14-point favorite versus number 5 Florida State. I might as well call this the tough break bowl for both of these teams. I mean, it's sucks to see what happened to Florida State. We talked about this. I think albeit a very, very tough decision for the committee to make, I think they got it right. Just Florida State, not the same team that they were. And I know people will point and say, well, there's been other teams that have gotten in with backup quarterbacks. It just, again, you can't watch the SEC championship and the ACC championship and tell me that that Florida State's a better team than Alabama. So, and conversely, tough for Georgia to lose that one game and not make it. But I mean, again, I think the committee had a tough task in
the games.
Moving to 12 teams next year. I think they kind of threw the precedent out the window and said, we can truly pick the best 4 teams here, and I think they did. These 2 teams chose to cancel their media availability for this game, which understandably so, between both of these teams. What do you think about Georgia versus FSU?
I have a take. I think Kirby Smart is out for blood in this game, and he wants to beat the living shit out of Florida State.
I would agree with that.
As far I do know, I'm pretty sure Brock Bowers isn't playing. But Carson Beck's going to play. Carson Beck will be back next year. And I'm sure Georgia has – I'm not sure which defensive guys have elected not to play. There wasn't really a standout defender like we're used to from Georgia this past year, but they have a deep stable of horses back there waiting in the wings. So whatever guys they're throwing out there, they're going to be good. And I think Kirby's the kind of coach he wants to make this one ugly. They're favored by 14, so Vegas thinks it's going to be ugly. I think Florida State's defense could make this interesting because they played a really good game against Louisville, and they are an elite defense. I just probably the second string quarterback, that Rodemaker playing. But yeah, I think Georgia's going to win this one and win this one big.
Yeah, I just don't see Florida State having enough on offense to be able to go out and win this game. I mean, you look at what the score was at halftime in that ACC championship game; it was 3-0, and just miserable offense out of the Noles. And again, a first start from that guy that played, and granted, he won the game and did a good job, and with what he was able to do, but. Just not very good offense out of Florida State without Jordan Travis. So yeah, I'll pick Georgia big in that one as well. Moving on to a feel good story. There's always one group of 5 that makes it. This year it is in the VRBO Fiesta Bowl. Number 23 Liberty makes its first appearance in the New Year's Six. They face number 8 Oregon. Oregon, a hefty 17-point favorite in this game. And I don't know if Bo Nix will play in this game or not. But I still think Oregon will probably win this game and run away with it. But kudos to Liberty, man. They've been a team that has had some pretty good success in the last 4 or 5 years. Hugh Freeze coached in a hospital bed from the press conference, from the press box, and won that game for whatever it's worth a couple years ago. But Liberty, a team that again has had some pretty consistent success, and they get paid off by making it to a New Year's Six bowl. However, their prize is Oregon, who is a team pissed off. They lost to Washington twice and missed out on the college football playoff. What do you think about this one?
This is going to be another blowout. Whether or not Bo Nix plays, Liberty's just way too outmatched in this one. And I honestly think, does the college football playoff committee pick these games too? Or
no, the bowl games pick them.
I got you.
They have criteria that they have to meet, but I
honestly thought they shafted SMU, not giving them this spot. I know Liberty went undefeated, but SMU won the American, went 10-2, played much tougher games. So I mean, I think SMU got shafted a little bit, and it would have been a better game too, in my opinion. But yeah, Oregon minus 17 in this one. The Ducks are going to roll over. What is it? The Flames?
Yeah. The Ducks will quack.
Yeah. The Ducks will extinguish the Flames in this one.
Yes, with their webbed feet.
Yep. Quack. Quack.
That's enough duck jokes for one show. Moving on to the big games here. The first college football playoff semifinal is in the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California. Number 4, Alabama Crimson Tide versus the number 1 Michigan Wolverines. Michigan is a 1-point favorite in this game as it stands right now. The biggest thing here, and again, this is a theme. If you've listened to this show before, you've heard this. Which quarterback do you trust more? And that, I think, is the biggest thing here. I think both of these offenses are fairly evenly matched. If I had to, pick one or the other, I think it's a split, at least for me.
Bama's got more big play potential than Michigan.
And that, I think, is, you hit the nail on the head. I think that is what's going to separate this. I have on these notes here JJ McCarthy with a question mark next to it, because he is, it's are you going to get the quarterback who can make enough plays to beat Ohio State, or are you going to get the quarterback who got boat raced by TCU last year, by all accounts? So I think that for Michigan is the biggest thing there, is which version of JJ McCarthy are you going to get? I think you really know what you're going to get out of those running backs. You're going to get about 50 to 60 yards out of Blake Corum, but he's going to have 5 touchdowns somehow. And then, Donovan Edwards is really their big play threat out of that backfield. So, I mean, the running backs are going to have to show up for Michigan. JJ McCarthy is going to have to show up for Michigan. I think this is going to be a really close game, and I think really what's going to decide this game is going to be the defensive side of the ball. And that one, again, Michigan, a really good defense, but Bama's defense really came along over the year and played really well against Georgia in the SEC championship game. Man, this is a tough one. Vegas thinks it's a tough one. It's a 1-point spread here for Michigan. What do you think about this one between the Tide and the Wolverines?
Yeah, like I said, Bama has more big playability, and Jalen Milroe, that Michigan hasn't played a quarterback like him all year long, a guy that can and will beat you with his legs. However, Michigan does have an elite defense. Arguably, could make the argument they have the best in the country, and this could argue this is the best defense that Bama will have played. I do think I hit the nail on the head. It's going to be one on the defensive side of the ball. Michigan is a very methodical team. They like to wear you down with the run game. If Alabama can stop the run, though, I could see this one getting ugly because I don't trust J.J. McCarthy, especially against that Bama secondary. Kool-Aid McKinstry back there to get enough done. But I'm interested to see, but I can't bet against a hot Nick Saban coach team in this one. So give me the Tide to go to the Natty.
Yeah, I think in this situation, if you gave me the choice between Harbaugh with no sign advantage and Nick Saban with a month to prepare, I'm going to pick Nick Saban with a month to prepare every time. I just, again, like you said, Alabama's hot, albeit sneaking one out against Auburn. But, Michigan, on the other hand of that, I don't really, we mentioned earlier Iowa was unable to score on Michigan in that Big Ten championship game, and Iowa's got a pretty good defense. But I think Michigan should have been able to do a little bit more on offense than they did in that game. And I don't know if I trust that offense against Alabama's defense. And like you said, I think Bama is going to be able to find ways for, and one thing I think being understated in this game, and you mentioned it too, Jalen Milroe's ability to, when a play breaks down, get 20, 30 yards with his feet is going to be huge for Alabama. And I like Alabama's chances a lot, given the way that they played against Georgia. So I'm going to pick Alabama as well, and I'm going to pick them in a 2-score game to win this game against Michigan. So interesting game. That'll be a big one in the Rose Bowl. One of college football's greatest settings. Always a beautiful, beautiful game out there. So we'll see a good one in the Rose Bowl in the first playoff semifinal. Alabama to both of us are picking Alabama to go to the Natty. So we'll see how that one goes. College football playoff semifinal number 2 in the All-State Sugar Bowl in New Orleans, Louisiana. Number 3 Texas, a 4.5-point favorite versus number 2 Washington. This game is again going to be, I think, in my mind, which quarterback do you trust more, Michael Penix Jr. or Quinn Ewers? And, we've seen Quinn Ewers start to heat up a little bit, kind of up and down play a little bit, was injured in the middle of the season, missed a game, I believe. Can Washington's defense do enough to stop Texas?
You're asking me.
I am asking.
I think they can. I think Washington's proven all year. One side of the ball, pick the other side up when it's an off day for one. Washington's a resilient team. They've gutted out wins. They've blown teams out. They can win any way you want them to. I really like their head coach a lot. I like Michael Penix Jr. a lot. However, though, I think Texas is one of the hottest teams in America right now. They're playing great ball on both sides of the football. I do think this one will be close, but I think the Horns will get the win in this one. What was I about to say? Washington, though, I mean, like I said, they've stepped up when they had to. They beat Oregon twice. They've passed every test in front of them, so I won't be surprised if Washington wins. I just think Texas is just a little bit better, and I think Quinn Ewers is playing a little bit better than Michael Penix Jr. is right now. So give me the Horns to win this one and go to the Natty against Alabama in a Natty that could possibly shatter ratings in the last year of the 4-year playoff with Alabama versus Texas. Big bragging rights, too, with potentially, if that's the Natty in Texas, going to the SEC next year.
Yep, and I agree with you. I look at how Washington's played over the last year, over the last month. They've kind of struggled in some games, especially winning a few late. And again, they pulled off a win against Oregon, beating them for the second time, which is not easy to beat a team twice in 1 year. So kudos to Washington and Michael Penix Jr. for the season that they've had. Kudos to Rome Odunze in the season that he's had, an incredible receiver who's going to go very high in the NFL draft. But I think. Again, I agree with you. Ewers is playing a little bit better than Penix, and I find it hard to think that Texas is going to go and not do enough to win this game. well-coached team behind Steve Sarkisian. So, I think that they'll be ready for this game, and I think they'll be itching to have a rematch with Alabama in what could be, an absolute classic of a national championship game. So I will agree with you there. And, stamp it. This show, High Street Sports, pick for the national championship will be an Alabama-Texas rematch in what could be a very, very fun football game to watch for college football fans all over the country. So exciting bowl season, man. It's been a fun college football season. It's been fun to talk about it every week. And hopefully we will have, another pretty good conversation leading into the national championship game. And as we go through these bowl games. So that is it for the first annual High Street Sports College Football Bowl Extravaganza. What a time, what a season. And it should be a lot of fun here at the finish. So then we will switch to our NFL conversation here. 10-5, I think, for both of us this week on our picks, hinging upon what happens in this Monday Night Football game that is currently underway.
Eagles currently winning 7-0.
That's really good for my Seahawks pick.
And Drew Lock started for Seattle, even though Geno is active.
Let's see that.
Interesting plan of attack there for Seattle. But yeah, Eagles up 7-0. Jalen Hurts has a rushing touchdown to start, likely on a brotherly shove.
As it were.
Yep. But yeah, getting into NFL talk early this week, just because with the holidays coming up, our schedules kind of don't line up where we can get that pod out to you guys. So we'll talk about it now. Like Chris said, both 10-5. I said at 136-89 right now, pending this Monday night game. It's okay if you don't want to.
Be careful while I math.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah, 123 and 102.
Okay. But yeah, a lot of few good games this week. A couple Saturday games, 3 Monday games on Christmas Day next week. So a lot of Christmas, or a lot of Christmas, and a lot of football.
A lot of Christmas.
Whole lot of Christmas.
Big Christmas.
But yeah, we'll start off with our Thursday night football game. The New Orleans Saints visiting the Los Angeles Rams. Saints coming off the win last week against the I'm blanking. The Rams beat the Commanders. Too. The Saints, I just had it.
It was one of the games that I got wrong. This is
the Giants. Yeah, because
that's the one.
Actually, no, I think you picked the Saints. Did you not?
I did not. I picked the Giants because I hate Derek Carr.
You rolled with me in my Joey Bag of Donuts pick. Shout out Tommy DeVito. He got hurt in that game, so wasn't able to play. I think he got hurt in the first quarter, actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, Giants Saints won 24-6. Rams beat the Commanders 28-20 at home last week, and they come into this game a 4.5-point favorite. I'll take the Rams in this one. Like we said all year, we don't really know what to make of them. They kind of beat the mediocre bad teams, and then they put up a couple games against some good teams, but like you said, kind of so on LA this year. But I think they'll get the win at home right before Christmas and send the Saints back to New Orleans with a loss.
All right, going based on what you just said, would you categorize the Saints as a mediocre bad team?
Yeah, I would.
Yep. Give me the Rams.
All right, Rams are 7-7. I mean,
ipso facto. I mean, they've won some gritty games, man.
They're right there in the wild card hunt. I would imagine with 4 games to go.
It's such a strange team, strange kind of makeup there with that team, and you never really know what you're going to get out of them. You don't know if it's going to be the Rams of old. You don't know if Aaron Donald's going to take over a game. I mean, it's just kind of weird.
It seemed to be a lot better now that Kyron Williams is back. He had 152 yards and a touchdown last week, so they got that run game to complement Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua now.
Yeah.
Puka Nacua.
I will take Puka Nacua in the Rams there in that one.
Puka Nacooper Cup. Anywho.
Oh, boy.
Next up, we got the first of 2 Saturday games, AFC North matchup, Bengals at Steelers. Bengals coming off the win against the Vikings on Saturday last week in overtime, and then the Steelers coming off a loss on Saturday as well at home against the Colts. The Steelers are now 7-7, so see if Mike Tomlin can work his magic and get them over the hump to finish with a winning record again. I do think they're going to fall to 7-8 this week. I like the way the Bengals are playing after Joe Burrow went down. Jake Browning's playing well. Give me the Bengals to get a gritty win in this one in a rivalry game in the Steel City.
Yeah, I will also take the Bengals. I like the way that Jake Browning's playing.
Jamar Chase is out for the year, though, I'm pretty sure.
Ooh. I mean, I don't like anything about what's happening in Pittsburgh outside of JJ Watt. I mean, it's not very good on offense at all. Dysfunctional, no doubt.
Jake Browning, 29 for 42, 324 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. That's nothing to sneeze at.
He's an animal, and he's played very well since he stepped in for Joe. And
you still have Hemmings.
You do, which he made one of the most incredible plays last week when he, reached out, caught that ball, got his momentum stopped, and reached out for the pylon to score that touchdown. It's just unbelievable.
Future
awareness.
Carolina Panther.
Yeah, well, speaking into existence, because you guys need all help you can get. But big time win for the Bengals last week for momentum's sake. Yeah, give me the Bengals.
All right, and then next up, a second Saturday game, Bills at Chargers. Bills coming off a massive win yesterday in America's Game of the Week at home against the Cowboys. Just dominant on every side of the ball in that one, winning 31-10. Chargers, the complete opposite. We both said we're never picking them again. We made the right pick last week. Lost 63-21 to the Raiders.
A team that didn't score the week prior, mind you.
Correct. Yes. 42-0 at halftime, which I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw that on the ticker. Bills are 8-6 now, I believe. They've got Chargers this week, I believe. Miami next week. So getting hot at the right time. They do like to play down to their competition, though. So, but Chargers are really bad, and they just fired everybody except the concession stand workers after that loss on Saturday or Thursday last week. So yeah, give me the Bills to keep it rolling this one, get to 9-6, and control their own destiny in that AFC East going into Miami next week.
Yeah, Josh Allen is playing like the quarterback who everybody thought he was. And so, I think with that team playing the way they are against a team who is playing the way that they are, poor Keenan Allen, man, that's awful.
Yeah.
Awful football in Charger land. So, yeah, I'll take the Bills. Bills are getting hot. A lot to play for here as the season winds down. The AFC playoff picture is crowded with that 9-5 to 8-6 to 7-7 crowd there. So a lot to play for in the AFC. So yeah, I'll take the Bills.
All right. And then next up, we got first Sunday game of this week, Packers at Panthers. Packers coming off a loss at home to the Buccaneers. Panthers coming off a win. I did not have that on my bingo card for Sunday, but here we are, an ugly 9-7 win in the rain. They don't ask how, they ask how many. In this case, how many is 2. Hey, we're here. Bryce Young led a 95-yard game-winning drive, huge for his confidence. Defense played really well. Like I said, early game, Derek Brown, defensive tackle, was a game record. I'm more on the fence of paying him big bucks instead of Brian Burns now. Not more on the fence. I'm more leaning toward giving him the big bucks instead of Brian Burns now. Still need to pay Brian Burns, but yeah, that's a topic for another day. Packers favored in this one, -4.5. I don't think the Panthers are going to get back-to-back wins. I think the Packers and Jordan Love will get the win in this one in Charlotte.
Yeah, I mean,
the Packers fans are going to take over that stadium.
Yeah, it was, and I want to just for 1 second, the Panthers got a lot of unfair criticism with the attendance in that game on Sunday. I mean, granted, I know the team is not very good, but it rained cats and dogs in a lot of them on Sunday in North Carolina. So
counterpoint,
I know
I wouldn't have gone if it was a beautiful day.
Fair enough. However, I wouldn't have sat in 3 inches of rain watching that team either. So, take that for what it's worth. I am going to pick the Packers though. So take that for what it's worth.
And then next up, coming to my transfer portal destination, the Cleveland Brownies, coming off a big win in not overtime, last minute win against I'm blanking again, Chicago. The Bears. Yep, the Bears. 20-17, ugly game. But hey, that's what we associate with the Browns right now with all the injuries. The defense is going to defense. Going to Texans. Texans got a big win with that C.J. Stroud in overtime on the road at Tennessee. Houston's favored -2.5 in this one. I have a feeling C.J. Stroud will be back this week. I believe it was just, I don't want to say just concussion, but had to be a pretty bad one to keep him out 2 weeks in a row. But I'm going to keep rolling with the Brownies. They just find ways to win. The defense steps up when it needs to. So give me the Browns.
If there's one thing that I did not see going into this season, two things that I didn't see going into the season. It's 23% of the Browns roster on the IR in being 9-5, and the other is Joe Flacco being the one who's going to captain this ship into the playoffs. And Joe was beside himself at throwing 3 interceptions. Not the performance that he wanted. However, in his fourth quarter, he was 10 of 12, 212, and 1 touchdown in that fourth quarter. So he was able to find David Njoku when they needed it. And when really after I called out David Njoku for being the NFL drop leader, he has been an integral part of the Browns offense. You have got to get something out of those running backs. So, I mean, the lack of production there between Jerome Ford and Kareem Hunt is just glaring and can't happen if the Browns want to, finish out the season, run the table and put themselves in a pretty good spot in the playoffs. So all these games to remain are winnable. But the Browns are going to have to go up against a tough D'Amico Ryans team who, really is exceeding all expectations, and CJ Stroud again in the driver's seat for Rookie of the Year. So, if he's back, it's going to be a tough task for the Browns, and the defense is going to have to make plays. But I will continue to ride that wagon as well. Browns are in the middle of something magical, man, and there's just something about this team. Incredible pickup, getting Dustin Hopkins in the offseason and kicking Cade York to the curb. Unbelievable miss on a guy that they took a draft pick on. When you draft a kicker, you usually think he's going to be pretty good, but he stunk. Dustin Hopkins is a wily veteran who's come in and made a lot of big kicks for the Browns this season. So good on you, Dustin. Good on you, Joe Flacco. Here we go, Brownies. Here we go. I'm picking the Browns.
And next up, I don't know if you've noticed, but if you haven't noticed now, after the Thursday night game, we've picked nothing but road teams.
Oh,
that's not continuing with the next game. The Commanders at the Jets.
Oh yeah, no fly zone, literally.
Jets coming off getting skunked at home against the Dolphins. Zach Wilson got terrorized with 4 sacks, I think, in the first half. Offensive line for the Jets is abysmal, but I'm a man of my word. I'm not picking the Commanders anymore. The Commanders are about to go and undergo a serious coaching makeover, I believe. But yeah, Jets are actually favored -3. So yeah, give me the Jets. See if Aaron Rodgers just surprises everyone. He has been cleared, apparently.
That's absolutely unbelievable.
So
well, it's not. It is. That's such a weird situation.
He should rappel in from the rafters like HBK at WrestleMania.
That would be one of the greatest things that we've ever laid our eyes on.
But yeah, give me the Jets. I'm not picking the Commanders. He's not either. Yeah, he's picking the Jets.
Yeah, I will take the Jets as well. Interesting situation for the Commanders, though. I saw that Jacoby Brissett had more passing yards in 2 series than Sam Howell did in 10 last week, which is an interesting situation there. I mean,
Sam Howell was leading the league in passing for a while.
Yeah, I watched a little bit of that game or saw some highlights in which, they talked a lot about Terry McLaurin and the frustration that he's going through, not getting the ball as much as he wanted to and stuff like that, which is, shocking to me how you wouldn't get your best player the ball more than you do. But, I mean, yeah, like you said, they're going to go through a lot of coaching change in Washington, and rightfully so. They need to figure something out and figure it out quick. But I will pick the Jets in this one too.
And then next up, we got the Seahawks at the Titans. Titans coming off the loss to the Texans that we talked about. Seahawks in the middle of Monday Night Football right now with the Eagles. TBD on them. They're favored in this one, -2.5. However, though, with the uncertainty of the starting quarterback, I don't believe in Drew Lock. Geno's active, so they must not be thrilled with the way he's playing. Even though I think he's been all right. No reason to bench him for a guy like Drew Lock. But Will Levis, I think, is probably going to miss the rest of the season. He did get injured in the game against the Texans. But I'll take the Titans. I think Mike Vrabel is a great coach, and the defense is pretty good. I think they'll ride Derrick Henry to a gritty win in that one.
Is Tannehill still their backup?
Yeah, he's there. And you also got Malik Willis.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think, given what their situation looks like and given what the quarterback situation looks like in Seattle, I would have to think that Geno's probably hurt, no? I mean, I wouldn't think that they're just benching him for no reason. So, I guess if he's hurt and Drew Lock is going to be the guy or, whether Geno plays or not, yeah, I think I'll take the Titans in that one too.
And next up, we got the Colts at the Falcons. Falcons coming off the loss in Charlotte to the Panthers. Colts coming off a win in Pittsburgh. Like Chris and I talked about, I really like this Colts team. I like Shane Steichen, the head coach. I like Gardner Minshew. They're doing the little things to win. Their defense is playing well. Gardner Minshew's managing the game. He's doing what it takes to win. They're riding Jonathan Taylor. So give me the ponies to keep this one rolling in Atlanta this week. Desmond Ridder does not look good since looked really bad against the Panthers. And I'll be interested to see if they turn back to Taylor Heineke. Regardless, though, give me the Colts.
Yeah, I'll take the Colts as well. I mean, like you said, Gardner Minshew just keeps doing what needs to be done to win. They're kind of getting healthy, I believe, and that offense has got some pieces around
They're
it.
They're right there in the AFC South race
Good
now,
God,
dude!
The hit that Michael Pittman took in that game last week. Holy cow! Yeah. I couldn't believe he walked away from that. That was
early. That was early 2000s Ravens Steelers type hit.
That was Vontaze Burfict stuff. I mean, that was just wow. I mean, that was scary, but yeah. Thank God he got up and walked away, and I think he finished the game, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, he did.
But crazy toughness. I love it.
Yeah.
Colts
might not have known what his name was after the game, but he finished the game.
It's football, baby.
Yep. Next up, NFC North matchup: Lions at the Vikings. Lions coming off a win last Saturday. They played the Broncos, beat them 42-17, getting back on track for them. And then Vikings lost to the Bengals in overtime, like we talked about. The Jake Browning show came to town, and they lost. This is an interesting one. I know it's a rivalry game. Vikings have a lot of question marks at quarterback right now ever since benching Josh Dobbs. The Lions are now 10-4. Trying to think. Coming off that loss against Chicago. But yeah, give me the Lions in this one. I think it'll be closer than people realize, just be a division game. But I do think the Lions will get it done.
Yeah, I mean, Josh Dobbs kind of came back down to earth.
Jared Goff had 5 touchdowns.
Yeah, he had a really good game. And
that's Sam Laporta, tight end from Iowa, had 3 touchdowns.
Yeah. So, I mean, the Lions are starting to get back to form and start to play some good football again. And like I said, Josh Dobbs came back down to earth. That is a rocket science joke. And, I think it is what it is. It's kind of a Ryan Fitzpatrick situation. He gave you a couple of good games and did what he could. And, but I think the reality of the situation is, that's the kind of quarterback that Josh Dobbs is. So, yeah, I will take the Lions as well. MCDC.
Next up, we got game down in the lawless land of Florida. Jacksonville Jaguars at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Jacksonville actually favored -1 in this one. Jacksonville lost last night, Sunday Night Football, against the Ravens 22-7. Buccaneers got a win in Lambeau 34-20, I believe. Baker played really well. Mike Evans continued to do what Mike Evans does. Give me the Bucs in this one. I like the way the Bucs and Baker have been playing the last few weeks. And I believe they're in first place, if not tied for first place with the Saints in the NFC South. And I think they'll keep it rolling this week. And the Jags are kind of falling off a little bit. They need this one to keep pace in the AFC South with the Colts and the Texans.
Yeah, it's a big game. Every game with I think 3 weeks left in the season, every game is a big game, especially for the Jags, who aren't playing well right now on a 2-game losing streak. So I'll take Baker as well and take the Bucs in that one too.
Then next up, we got 2 teams who we thought would be battling for the number 1 pick this year. One of them still might be the Cardinals playing at the Bears, who are playing well the past few weeks. Justin Fields is playing well. Chicago's favored -4.5 in this one. I will take the Bears. I think I trust Justin Fields at home more than I do Kyler Murray on the road. I think he'll I think Justin Fields will get it done. Interesting to see if he keeps playing well. You got to think, I mean, they own the Panthers' first-round pick, and I believe the Panthers are going to finish with the worst record and give the number 1 pick to Chicago. So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, the Bears are kind of in a good spot if you think about it. If Fields keeps playing really well, it boosts his trade value. If not, I mean, if you want to keep him, you keep him and get him a guy like Marvin Harrison Jr. to throw through. Or, I mean, you have your quarterback of the future right there at number 1, and plus you have another top 10, top 15 pick to pick from. So, yeah, Bears are honestly in a good spot right now, as far as rebuilds go. But, yeah, they'll win this one this week.
Yeah, if I'm the Bears, I would strongly consider keeping Justin Fields. He's played well enough to win, a few games this season that haven't gone their way, namely last week without a crazy bounce in that last throw, that Hail Mary. The Bears could have won that game against the Browns last week. So, Justin's playing well, and I think, again, Bears fans have wanted to jump the gun and get rid of him, and that's whatever. I just don't. Drake May is a very good quarterback, and Caleb Williams is the other one that's, I guess, in question of being the number 1 pick. But I think if you're the Bears, you trade back, see if you can trade back to 3 or whatever the case is, and if you can get a package for it and draft Marvin Harrison and give him a bona fide receiver to throw to out there, because I think that's been the issue for the Bears more than anything else.
Or get him a damn offensive tackle.
That's true too. So there's ways that they can improve and keep Justin Fields. Just whether or not they've kind of come to the end with that, but I think they'd be wrong too if that's my opinion. But I'll take the Bears in that one too.
The next up, one of the biggest games of the week, I believe it would be America's Game of the Week. Shocker, because the Cowboys are in it. Cowboys at Dolphins. Cowboys coming off bad loss yesterday to the Bills in Buffalo. Dolphins coming off shutting out the Jets. I believe that was in New York too. No, it was in Miami.
Okay.
Yeah, Miami's favored -1.5 in this one. I'm going to take the Dolphins. I think I don't think the Cowboys are road warriors. I think they are homebodies, and I like the way the Dolphins have played the past few weeks. Yeah, give me the Fins in this one, and they'll need this one too because they got them this week. I think let's go to Dallas this week, at Baltimore next week, and finale at home against Buffalo.
Yeah, I mean, it's a game the Cowboys need, but they've got absolutely boat race this past week. So, it'll be a response game for Dak and the Cowboys. But I'll pick the Fins in that one too. I just don't trust Dak to be able to go on the road and get the
one
job
more
done.
interception.
Yep, he said he wouldn't do it. I knew he was lying.
No, he's going to do it.
He's going to do it. It was inevitable.
If he doesn't do it, you have to wear a Cowboys hat on this show.
I don't have a Cowboys hat. I'm not going to buy one, but I'll put the Cowboys logo on the screen. How about that?
That's fair enough. It's not going to happen.
No, it is going to happen. It's going to happen.
I'm talking about it's not going to happen. That star is not going to be on that screen behind you.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that's what I meant. No. Yeah, next up, I don't know how this one didn't get flexed from Sunday Night Football, but you got the Patriots at the Broncos. Broncos coming off the loss last week to the Lions, and then the Patriots coming off the loss at home against the Chiefs. I will take the Broncos favored -6.5 in Denver. Patriots stink. Broncos don't stink as bad as they did, but they're still not that great. But I'm going to take the not that great team over the team that stinks.
Yeah, I just I've not been a Broncos fan on this show this season, and I'm going to do it. I picked the Patriots to get an upset win against the Steelers a couple weeks ago, albeit Steelers in a little bit of a different situation than the Broncos are. However, Steelers, Broncos, kind of the same team. Russell Wilson still stinks. He might be a little bit back, but he still stinks. I'm going to pick the Patriots. Why not?
He's not McRib back.
Well, no, he will never be McRib back.
No.
But,
I don't think anybody will ever be McRib back.
No. The only thing that can be McRib back is the McRib.
Yeah. Yeah. Texas has an opportunity going back to college football. Texas could join the McRib as being back. That remains to be seen. Florida State could not join the McRib as being back. Miami is 100% not joining the McRib as no. Yeah. Sponsor us, Mickey D's.
Oh, ooh. Come on, Ronald. You know where to find me.
And next up, we got the first of 3 Monday games. 1 o'clock on Monday, on Christmas Day. Hey, Christmas. Yay. Got a AFC West matchup, Raiders at Chiefs. Raiders coming off the absolute stomping of the Chargers on Thursday Night Football last week. Chiefs coming off the win against the Patriots in New England. I got to think for this game, Patrick Mahomes might have Kadarius Toney kidnapped. He's definitely on old post-Mahomes shit list. Kansas City's actually favored by 10 in this one, but I think the Chiefs will win this one. I don't think they'll cover. I think the Raiders will give them a game at home. I still don't like the way that the Chiefs are playing. I think Antonio Pierce will have his guys fired up, and they'll lose, but they'll lose a lot closer one than 10 points in Kansas City.
I think that the Raiders have absolutely blown their load and will maybe not score over 20 points for the rest of the season.
If they did, it was
listen, it was fireworks, and I applaud them for going, and probably I don't think there's ever been a team in NFL history or maybe football history that has been shut out one week and then score 60 plus points the following.
You want to talk about punching air? You should have seen me when I saw the halftime score 42-0 and saw Devontae Adams didn't even have 60 yards receiving and a touchdown out of that.
Yeah, I will be thoroughly shocked if Devontae Adams is still in Las Vegas next season. That's just such a strange thing to me. Again, why would you not get your best player of the ball? Doesn't make sense to me. However, I will take Kansas City in this one, and I will take them to cover every bit of it.
All right. Disrespecting the black hole.
I think they've disrespected themselves for quite some time.
You're right. Next up.
Cool stadium, though.
Yeah. Next up, mid-afternoon, Christmas Day game. Giants at Eagles, NFC East matchup. Philly still in the midst of their game right now. I believe they're winning 10-0 now, middle of the second. Giants lost Tommy DeVito. I'm not sure how serious it is, but coming off the loss in New Orleans to the Saints. Philly's favored minus 10.5 in this one. I don't see a situation where Philadelphia loses this game at home, especially when they need it just to keep pulling away from Dallas. Pull away from Dallas.
Yeah, I'll take the Eagles in that one too. Somebody get this man a cough drop, but I will take the Eagles as well.
And then last Monday Night Football game on Christmas Day, big one. You got the Baltimore Ravens traveling to San Francisco to play the 49ers. Arguably the best team in the AFC, playing the best team in the NFC. San Francisco favored minus 5.5 in this one. Ravens got the win last night against the Chargers, 23-7. Lamar was all right. The defense played really well. Shout out to Keaton Mitchell, a former ECU Pirate. Had a really, really bad injury last night. Definitely a torn ACL. Probably a few other things that looked really bad. Sucks for him, just starting to carve out a role there, receiving and running the ball. Hope you get well, Deuce. Bounce back next year and keep growing off this good career you got going so far. But 49ers continuing to do what they do, coming off 45-29 win against the Cardinals. I was shocked the Cardinals were able to score 29 points. Maybe San Francisco just took their foot off the gas defensively. But yeah, give me the Niners in this one. I do think being at home, I think the defense will give Lamar a really hard time in that one, and I think that offense will keep churning away, and I think they'll win, and I think they'll cover that too.
Defense wins championships, man. And the 49ers have a championship level defense. And they've got a lot of offensive pieces that are making plays at the right time. Christian McCaffrey just continues to be a focal point of that offense. Brandon Ayuk and Debo Samuels and that bunch, man. Brock Purdy knows how to find the weapons, and Kyle Shanahan knows how to put that team in a position to win. If you're
Screens and
asking
crossers,
me,
baby.
yeah, I mean, shit. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Clean living.
And they've got the weapons to make that offense work. And if you're asking me who I trust more at this point in the season, between Brock Purdy and Lamar Jackson.
Wow, what a wild statement that would have been a year ago.
I admit though, but I think in this situation, man, I don't
I trust the weapons Brock Purdy has around him.
Correct.
Brock Purdy's doing what he's supposed to do to win, but someone hit the nail on the head. There was a video on him of Twitter. He made and dressed a pizza or something, and someone commented, said Debo, Kittle, and McCaffrey probably made it, and he's just putting it in the oven.
It is what it is. I trust him. I trust him to throw the ball more than I trust Lamar to throw the ball.
All right.
And I think that to me, I think the conversation that was happening when the whole contract debate was going on for Lamar was do you trust Lamar to throw the ball to win you a football game? And I can't. I know he's got Odell. I know he's got some guys that are capable of making plays, but I haven't seen it out of Lamar to go out and win a football game.
Yeah, he's really missing Mark Andrews, his safety blanket right now.
Yeah.
And losing Keaton Mitchell doesn't help either. I know he's a rookie, but he was starting to really benefit, help out in the run game and the pass game too. Yeah.
Yep.
Christian McCaffrey, what can you say? 18 carries, 115 yards, touchdown, 5 targets, 5 receptions, 72 yards, 2 touchdowns.
He's a playmaker. Period. I mean, he's one of the best playmakers in the game of football, and that is indisputable. So I mean, and again, the Niners are playing championship level defense. So I think the Niners are the team that I'm picking to win this game. And I just every week that goes by and is as good as they're playing, they're starting to turn into my pick to win the Super Bowl. So I'm going to pick the Niners in this one.
Isn't that who you picked anyway? Or you picked the Bengals?
I did pick the Bengals. That's a tough look.
You picked the Niners to represent.
I did.
The NFC.
I did. And the more this goes on, the more I think they're the best team in football. So I'm pick the Niners.
I don't disagree with you. Yeah, that's it for NFL slate this week.
And I mean that's a jam-packed hour and 15 minute
football to tide you over in your holidays.
A lot of football coming, a lot of good college football, a lot of great college football, and a lot of really good NFL football on Christmas Day. Guys, thank you guys so much for coming back and hanging out with us as we talked a great game of football, inching closer to our 100 sub goal for the end of this season. And, a lot of engagement in the last, 2 or 3 weeks here for High Street Sports. So we appreciate each and every one of you for coming back each week, sharing the pod, subscribing, liking, commenting.
69 subs. We'll settle for that.
Engagement of any kind. It's a nice number we're at now, but that is not the end goal. It's a nice little milestone though. So appreciate each and every one of you guys for showing up and each week and watching us and listening to a couple of babbling idiots talk about this wonderful game of football. If you guys are traveling for the holidays, please be safe. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah to everybody out there. Thank you guys for coming in each week. For John Ross, my name is Chris. This has been the first annual High Street Sports Bowl Extravaganza. We'll see you guys next time.
Thanks, guys.